For this tutorial, you'll need your selected yarn. I'm going to be using the Scheepjes Softfun in the colour Capri, and also a 4.5mm crochet hook, but you can use whichever hook and yarn you prefer. A pair of scissors and a darning needle will also come in handy for sewing in your ends. As always, I'll leave all the links in the description box of everything that you need and the link to the written pattern. Okay, let's get started. To begin, you want to create your slip knot, and you can do this in whichever method you prefer. Go ahead and insert your crochet hook, and we're going to start off with a foundation chain, and we'll do this in a multiple of 3 plus 2 for turning. So we're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through. That's 3, and then 1, 2, 3 makes 6, and then you'll carry on in this multiple of 3 until you get to your desired width of your project. So go ahead, pause the video, continue your chain in a multiple of 3, and then meet me back once you're ready. So I've now done my foundation chain for my sample piece, and I've done 24 stitches, which is a multiple of 3. I'm now going to add an additional 2 for our turning chain, 1 and 2. So for row 1 of this pattern, we're going to double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook. So not the one that's on the hook, we have 1 and 2, and then this is the 3rd chain. So we're going to double crochet, which is a UK term. In the US, this is known as a single crochet. We'll go straight into that stitch, and then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. We'll have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook. We're then going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to double crochet into the same chain that we've just worked into. So into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. We're then going to have a pattern repeat, which we're going to work all the way along. And this pattern repeat starts off by skipping 2 chains, 1 and 2. Then into the next chain, we're going to double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet into that same chain. Repeat that again, skip 2 chains, double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet into that same chain. So you're going to repeat that all the way across until you have 2 chains remaining. So pause the video, work that pattern repeat, and then meet me back once you're ready. So I'm now at the end of this row, and I have 2 chains remaining. And what we're going to do here is skip a chain, and then we're going to do a half treble crochet into that last stitch. So that's a UK term. In the US, this is known as a half double. So it's yarn over, go into that last stitch or chain, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook, and there we have row 1. For row 2, we're going to turn our work, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, that counts as a treble crochet. We're going to skip the next stitch. So because this is a treble crochet, we don't count this one, that's classed as that stitch. So skip the next stitch and then work 3 trebles into this chain 2 space. So a treble crochet is a UK term. In the US, this is known as a double crochet. Yarn over into that chain 2 space, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1, 2 and 3. We then have a pattern repeat. So we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. So we have a stitch here and then a stitch here, 1 and 2, and then directly after that second stitch we'll find that chain 2 space, and we're going to go ahead and do 3 treble crochets into that chain 2 space. 1, 2 and 3, and that is our pattern repeat. So essentially we're just doing 3 treble crochets into that chain 2 space. So it's skip 2 stitches, 3 treble crochets, 1, 2 and 3, skip 2 stitches, and then 3 treble crochets into the chain 2 space. So you're going to work your way all the way along right into your last chain 2 space, working those 3 trebles into each of those spaces, and then meet me back once you're ready. So once you've worked your way all the way across, this is what your work should look like. We're now going to finish off this row by working a treble crochet into this last stitch, which is actually the turning chain. So the missed chains that we did right at the very beginning, that's where we're going to work into. So treble crochet into that last stitch, and there we have row 2. So we want to go ahead and turn our work. For row 3, we're going to chain 2, and that's going to count as a half treble, which is half double in the US. Because that counts as a stitch, we ignore this one for now. We skip the next stitch, and then we're going to do a double crochet, chain 2 and double crochet into the next stitch, and it works out to be the center treble of these stitches just here. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So exactly the same as what we were doing when we were working into the chain, but now we're working into the stitches. We're then going to skip 2 stitches and then work our pattern repeat. So the pattern repeat is double crochet, chain 2, double crochet into that central treble, skip 2 stitches, double crochet, chain 2, and then double crochet into that same stitch. Skip 2 stitches and then continue the pattern repeat. Work that all the way across until you have 3 stitches remaining. So bearing in mind, you're going to do double crochet, chain 2, double crochet and skip 2 stitches. So you'll have these 3 stitches remaining here. So pause the video, work your way to the end, and then meet me back once you're ready. So now you're at the end of this row. You'll have skipped these 2 stitches. You're going to double crochet, chain 2 and double crochet into that next stitch, and then you're going to skip a stitch and then work a half treble into the remaining stitch. So that is the turning chain just here, that was counting as a stitch. So half treble crochet into that stitch, and that is the end of row 3. So from here, row 2 and 3 are a pattern repeat. So you can rewind to row 2 if you need to and continue the pattern repeat. But from here, what you would do is chain 3, which would count as a treble. You'd skip those 2 stitches and then go ahead and do your 3 treble crochets into that chain 2 space, just as I showed you before. So rewind, as I say, if you need the repeats for those 2 rows. So here we have the stitch, and that's been repeated row 2 and 3 4 times, and it looks really, really beautiful. It's such a beautiful and easy stitch to do. So if you like this stitch, you might also enjoy this one.